Hello everyone, today's poem is Qin Wind, a Qin Wind from the Book of Songs. This is one of the most popular poems in the Book of Songs, and just 1 year ago, this poem was widely recited in China. And the story is when the coronavirus burst in Wuhan city, there's a huge demand for the medical supplies. And there are a bunch of medical supplies sent to China from many countries. And that's such a touching and warming actions. And the most touching story is a patch of medical supply from Japan. The box of the medical supply was painted with the words, the sentence from this poem, 岂曰无衣，与子同袍. So even a year later, when I recite this poem, I cannot help my feelings. While in the real history, this poem is sort of the song for the army before they went to the battlefield, the song to encourage their courage, to enhance their brotherhood. So this poem basically is about the brotherhood. All men are brothers. And with these feelings, the soldiers was so closely related, and they would protect each other. They will fight for each other in the most crucial battlefield. Okay, let's look at this very simple, very powerful, very touching, very strong voice of a song in the battlefield. 岂曰无衣，与子同袍. Is that to say we don't have our clothes? No, we are sharing the same clothing. So this is a general explanation, but anyhow, I have a different argument, because the character Pao never appeared in the previous, in the Book of Songs for the second time. So this is the only place we have this character. And in other classical literatures, there's no appearance of this character as well. And later on, in the later generations, Pao, Tong Pao, normally has two definitions. First thing first, the couple, the wife and husband, so it means the couple, or it refers to the brothers. So what does the couple and the brothers share? They sleeping in the same quilt in the ancient time, right? And so 与子同袍, I think it's referring we was brought up in the same room, in the same family. So we are brothers, right? And the character 子 make it very clearly that the poet is one of the princes of the Qin state, and 子 refers to the lord of the Qin state. So the first sentence could have a little bit different flavor with my explanation. 岂曰无衣，与子同袍. So we are very humble today. We don't have much clothes. Is that to say we don't have clothes? Really? I had a different opinion, because our Lord, He was sharing His quilt with us. I felt the warmth, and I also feel the true brotherhood. He's treating us as His own brothers. We are sleeping in the same quilt, in the same bed. So the human clothes means nothing, or even I just forgot the human clothes I'm wearing. So with this interpretation of the character Pao to quilt, it makes the sense. Because the poet tells us very clearly, someone don't have clothes, don't have enough clothes. They feel cold. And the Lord of the Qin state, he shared the same bed, same quilt with them in the night. And this do really warm them up, and they feel the warmth from the state lord. In ancient China, the soldiers had to prepare the clothes by themselves, by their own family, and some soldiers had good enough clothes, and some soldiers do not. And the state lord noticed this difference, and he shared his own quilt, his own bed with those poor prepared or poor family soldiers, and he warmed up everybody. So that's the first sentence was talking about. Some soldiers do really not have enough clothes. That's the fact. Okay, the next sentence. 王于兴师，修我戈矛，与子同仇. So today the king started the army, and it's the time to fix, to polish our weapons. 戈矛 is weapons, and we share the same enemy. We share the same hatred. So the second pair of sentences tell us very clearly that this war is a reasonable war, because it's not for the interest of the Qin state itself. It's because of the king of the Zhou. Wang here refers to the king of the Zhou. So only the king has the authority to declare a war. And today the king declared a war, and he summoned the Qin state to join the war, to join the army of the king's army. So the king, the soldier here, the Qin state lord, the Qin's army is only part of the war, because the war is not the Qin state's war. So that's a very, very key point for the ancient Chinese, because most of the time the war is not good. Unless you are bullied, you need to protect your own interest. And another case is you are summoned by the king of the Zhou dynasty. And here it point out very clearly, Wang Yu Xingshi, the king started the war. He started to build up the army. So there's several steps in a war. First thing first, the king declare the war, and then they start to build up the army, because there is no army in that time. So when they declared war, the order will be sent to the state. In this case, the Qin state. Maybe the king sent the order to several states, and in this case, the Qin state received the order, and he started to build the army. He will summon all the farmers, the craftsmen, and then allocate the weapons to those farmers, to those workers, craftsmen, and then they organized the farmers, the craftsmen, into armies, to divisions, to armies, and then they polish their weapons, and then they had some of the drills, and then the army was built up. So that's the normal process. Normally, you will see the words like 做军. So they built the army. So that means several steps I mentioned. And finally, when the army was built up, then they will march to the battlefield and have the battle with their enemies. Okay, the second paragraph and the third paragraph basically is repeating, but with a little bit differentiations. Okay, the second paragraph. 岂曰无衣，与子同泽. Is that to say we don't have any clothes? We don't have enough clothes? No, I don't think so, because I share the same underwear with my Lord. So this is a normal explanation, and I have a different argument as well. In the first paragraph, the poet said, I don't have enough clothes, but our Lord treat me as his real brothers. We share the same quilt. We sleep in the same bed. In the second paragraph, 与子同泽, 泽 it always refers to a pond of water. So 同泽 means they went to the pond to have a wash up. So this normally is the things between brothers within a family. So this reinforces the first paragraph. These days we are living together as real brothers, as real families. We wash up in the same pond. And then the following sentence, 王于兴师，修我矛戟. It's 与子偕作. So it's the same thing. The king started this war, and we started to build. We are now polish our weapons. We are fixing our weapons, and I'm doing the same things with my Lord. And 协作 means they are doing something together. Okay, the third paragraph. 岂曰无衣，与子同裳. Is that to say we don't have enough clothes? Is that to say we don't have clothes? No, I don't think so, because our Lord shared the same clothes with us. We all dressed in a humble way. Even so, the reality is we are a little bit poor. The materials, the clothing are not enough. It's not good enough. But our Lord has done his best to provide, to share all he had with us. So we dressed the same way, even it looks humble. It's not enough. But in my deep mind, I'm so satisfied with the brotherhood, with what our Lord has done. And so it makes me a sense that I'm very pretty well. I'm wearing a pretty good warm clothes. And now we are facing a great danger. someone might lost his lives. I might lost my lives, but I'm with you because we are brothers. We do the same thing. We have the same enemy, and we walk together. So the last sentence is 与子偕行. So we walk, we march in the same pace. So basically this very encouraging and very strong, very sounding poem. All men are brothers. Okay, that's for today. Bye-bye.